Let's add a second input here to the edit product screen. And for that, I'll copy the existing input, the title input here. The next input, let's say, is there to enter a price. Now, of course, that already means that we should configure one extra thing here. On the first input, it's nice and it's good that we get the default text style soft keyboard, which helps us with, well, entering normal text. Here, however, we'll enter a number. So one thing we should do here, which we already did earlier in this course too, I want to change the type of keyboard I show. And this can be done by setting the keyboard type argument here and set that to text input type dot, because text input type is a class with a couple of static properties, dot. And now here I think number makes a lot of sense because users should be able to enter a number here. I want to keep that text input action of next here because I still want to be able to go to the next input after we confirmed this. We don't have a next input yet, but we'll add one soon. And with that change, we also see the price input, and if we tap on it, we get the number keyboard, which is of course quite nice. Now, it would be nice to have that transition from title to price when we click the next button here on the soft keyboard in the title input. And that's something we have to manage manually, and we do that with the help of a so-called focus node. In our edit product screen, in the state object there, you can add a new final property underscore price focus node, and you can name this however you want, of course. And you create it with a value of focus node. Focus node is a class built into Flutter. We instantiate it here and we store that focus node, well, in the price focus node key here in that property. Now, it's pretty normal when working with forms in Flutter that you do a bit of managing behind the scenes. For example, to manage which input is focused. That's normal overhead you have when building forms because forms are relatively complex. And thankfully, as you will see, the form widget here already takes away some of the complexity you would otherwise have. So why do we create that focus node now? Because that focus node now can be assigned to a text input widget, so to a text field widget, like this price widget here. So there we can add focus node, this argument, and point at the price focus node property, which stores the focus node for this. How can we use that focus node? Well, on the first element, on the first text input here, where you want to go to the second input when this next button is pressed, you can listen to on field submitted. This will fire whenever this button here is pressed, whenever this button in the bottom right corner here is pressed. There you get the value that was entered in the field. I'm not interested in that though, so I'll add an underscore here to signal that I'm not interested. But now we can use that focus node to move the focus from that title input to the second, to the price input. For that, we use another class named Focus Scope, which is also built into Flutter and made available with the Material Dart import. And Focus Scope works a bit like theme and media query. You use off context to connect it to the page, so to say, to let it know where it is. And then you have a request focus method. And request focus now takes a focus node. So here we pass the price focus node. And with that, we tell Flutter that when this first input is submitted, so when this next button is pressed in the soft keyboard, we actually want to focus the element with the price focus node, and we assigned that price focus node to the second text form field here. Hence, now if we save that, and I press the next button here, whilst the focus is on the title, you see it automatically moves to the price. And that's of course a nice user experience because it allows the user to enter something, simply hit next, and automatically go to the next input without the user having to manually tap into that input.